Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing good. I'm doing good because today we're going to be talking about music. I'm going to be talking about what I've been listening to lately, not the whole month of July, but kind of the last couple of weeks what I've been doing. Um, for those of you who don't know, I also write reviews on some other websites, not just Rate Your Music, but Rate Your Music and some other ones I'll get into. So what I've been listening to for those publications or just social media websites. Just generally stuff that I don't own physically but want to talk about, which actually I'd like your opinion on. It seems on music YouTube, you need to have like the wall of music behind you or have like the physical prop, the the physical prop to go with what you're talking about. But is that required? A lot of people just use Spotify or streaming, or I use Bandcamp a lot. So that's a good question to start with. But we're going to do the listening room for today. So, what I wanted to talk about, I'm a writer for, or a member of an organization called Spring Magazine, springmag.ca. It's a left wing publication, and I do a lot of writing about climate stuff, social justice issues, music as well. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a big music guy. So I've been listening to a few newer releases from Rebel Time Records, based out of Quebec. So the first release I was sent for review from them is a newer split from Union Thugs and Out of System Transfer. So Union Thugs are from Montreal, Out of System Transfer from New York. They both do folk punk, so 2 tracks each. Union Thugs, they have one song in French, one in English. Out of System Transfer, both in English. I'll link the full review down below. But generally speaking, it's a really fun split. If you like folk punk, I think you're really going to like this, especially Out of System Transfer. I had never heard them before. They do a really good job kind of bringing up that idea of songs of place, really very poetically and very well describing the feelings you get when you're in a certain location, and that comes across really well in that release. So I really enjoyed that. I would love to have that on like an actual physical 7 inch. That'd be awesome. The next one is what I'm listening to right now for review for Spring Mag. Um, Almost done. I'm not sure exactly how it's pronounced. So the band, they're Parisian, but they're called Brigada Flores because Brigada, I don't think is a French word, and Flores is not a French word. So is it Spanish? Brigada Flores Flores Magon. I'm not sure. But the album is called Immortal. So it's all in French, and except one song has a chorus in English. Yeah, it's really cool. It's more like street punk. Lots of like anthemic choruses, very much along, down with the system, anti-capitalist sort of stuff. It's very catchy, really upbeat, gets the blood flowing, makes you want to walk down the street with your buddies and cause some mayhem and fight for workers' rights and everything we should be doing, which is fantastic. So that review is coming soon. It's also from Rebel Time Records in Canada. It's actually sort of an international effort, so a lot of distros and other labels and stuff like that have been putting it out worldwide, which is really cool. But again, that'll be in the full review, which won't be in the description down here because it doesn't exist yet, but in a later video. So those are two more political leaning albums I've been reviewing for Spring Mag. Otherwise, what am I listening to? I just finished kind of giving more serious listens and wrote a review on written music for a band called, I believe it's pronounced Akerst. It's spelled like Avkurst. They're from Norway. They're Norwegian. It's really cool progressive metal, progressive rock from this year. Um, I give it a 4 to 5 on Rate Your Music, but not that numerical ratings really help, but it gives you a bit of an idea. I would describe it as sort of a mix between kind of mid-career Opeth, so that period when they started including more kind of generalized progressive rock, more clean vocals, but still have the heaviness with them, not kind of where we're at now with Opeth, where it's more just kind of go ahead folk rock and folk inspired progressive rock, but they're still using a lot of their growly vocals and kind of black metal elements. And then with Porcupine Tree, I would bring up like Deadwing and In Absentia. It's kind of a mash between those two. but a little something unique as well. They've got their own stuff going on. It's not just, band X plus band Y equals band Z. I think there's a lot there, especially for a debut. Like this is their first release, and there's like a lot of promise. It just sounds really good. I think that's also where that porcupine tree reference comes up, right? Like it just the production, the harmonies, the vocal harmonies, it just sounds really good. Um, I will say the entire time I'm listening, I'm kind of like waiting for it to take off, and for the most part, it just doesn't. And not in a bad way, but in a way, it's like I know you can do it because once in a while you do. Especially the last two tracks, the two closers are fabulous. The last track, especially, I think really does. You do get that kind of extended, not jam breaks, but solos and thematic kind of offshoots from the central idea of the song, and it's really good. If you kind of like the two references I made before, then I think you'd really enjoy this release. I also want a physical copy, but unfortunately, it's a European release, so they're on a European label, and shipping to Canada just makes it a little cost prohibitive, which is true with a lot of things. There's another great group, again, it's a European release called Smoky Mirror, self-titled album just came out, heavy, heavy psych rock. I really like it and want a physical copy. I think it's going to be one of my top albums from this year, but same thing, just have a hard time paying more in shipping than for the actual release. Same time with Mustard Plug, they have a brand new album coming out, and I gave kind of their teasers a listen, and I really, really like it. Wanted to get a physical copy. It's like, okay, maybe I can save a few bucks to get the CD, but same thing. If it's 20 US for the CD, I don't really necessarily want to pay 25 US for shipping. And I'm like, I want to support physical media, but you're making it a little tough. Um, that said, another band I've been just kind of starting to listen to their 2023 album is Mystery, who are a Canadian prog rock band from Quebec as well. Um, a lot of people know Benoit David. He was the singer in Yes for a brief period. That's kind of one of their claims, but they're really, really fun and really good as well. And because they're in Canada, shipping is not prohibited. I think it was like 250 Canada Post for the CD, and it's like now we're getting there. I'm into this, so I've been listening to that. I was contacted online by a band called Pompous Tinkers, which A plus for the name. That's a fantastic name. They just wanted to see if I would want to do a review of their new EP that came out this year. It's digital only as far as I can tell. And it looks like that's what they've been doing online. If you kind of scope them out online and check out their social media, they've been contacting a lot of people saying, hey, will you give it a review? And I will. I'm just starting to get into it. They put out an album last year. From what I can tell, they are an art rock experimental duo. I'm not sure where from. Um, that that sums it up. They are quite art rocky and experimental. Right away, vocally and sort of sonically, I get some references to the Mars Volta. Not when they're going really fast and kind of going their polyrhythms and things like that, but like if you remember the track "The Widow" from Francis the Mute, or some of those more not even soundscapey bits, but the more straight ahead Mars Volta, as much as that is possible, as well as I think Radiohead when they're at their most kind of kraut rocky. So not just Radiohead, but bands like Can, I think, are a good reference point as well. So it's kind of a lot of this put together, and there's more to it as well. I've only kind of given a couple quick listens, skipping through songs, like just to get a taste of what they're about before I, can actually give a good opinion and a proper opinion, but that's where it's at. And then finally, just a lot of random music. That sounds weird to say, but some stuff that maybe I want to review for the channel. So I've been doing a little bit of Bedouin Sound Clash, thinking, oh, do I want to do that? Should I continue along with the discography? I've been sort of amassing some stuff to try, so like some genre work. For instance, I was never super into grunge, and I've never given like jazz fusion a try. So been getting a couple albums from there. Haven't started yet. That would be like a project, a listening project. Or do I want to do primers? I've been listening to some prog rock classics and pop punk classics. Be like, okay, could I do like a primer? So I've gotten a lot of stuff that I've been kind of giving some listens to. But in terms of like dedicated listens to, it's been a lot of prog rock and prog metal lately, um, with a bit of stuff like Better One Soundclash. I'd say mostly it's been Better One Soundclash thrown in as well, and then those two releases for review. So that's what I've been listening to lately. But I'm curious, what are you listening to lately? You know, we're over the halfway point of the year, so are we looking back and I'm like, oh, what are my favorites? And then I'm curious as well about physical media. I mean, in my day to day, like when I'm out and about, I've got headphones and I'm streaming Bandcamp or Spotify. But there's something about physical, owning something physical, especially when it's a band you've been streaming a lot this year. Oh, Jesse Ware, that's another release for some new disco for this year. Um, but when you're like, I need to support you, you know, and I know you're not going to be coming here on tour anytime super soon. You know, what's the best way to go about getting that physical release or supporting the band the best you can? But regardless, that's the listening room for August. What is it? August 6th, 2023. I'm curious, what are you listening to today? What's getting you through the long weekend, if you have a long weekend? And if you're watching this later, maybe there is still a long weekend. Sometimes they're long, or you can just call in sick, make it a long weekend. Or I guess you could actually get sick. I would say just call in sick and not actually get sick, but you do you. Anyway, that's what I'm listening to. Have a great day. Bye.